You're scrolling. You don't even remember opening the app. But here you are 45 minutes deep into absolutely nothing, and then you feel it. That specific weight, a chin, dropping onto your knee like a small, warm anchor, and for half a second you don't even look up. You just push the nose away, gently, absently, the way you'd move a throw pillow. And when you finally do look up, your dog is already walking away, slow, quiet, that tail doing that thing where it's not wagging, it's just hanging there. They curl up on their bed, let out this soft exhale, not dramatic, not a whine, just air, like they're setting something down, and you feel it immediately, don't you? That gut punch of guilt that makes absolutely no rational sense, and also makes complete sense. Did your dog just feel rejected? Most of us push that feeling aside pretty fast, because the widely accepted thing, the thing people say at dinner parties like they read it somewhere once, is that dogs live in the moment. They don't hold grudges. They shake it off. 30 seconds later, they've forgotten all about it and they're sniffing a wall or doing zoomies around the couch for no reason. And look, I get it. That idea is comforting. It lets us off the hook for every time we were too tired, too distracted, too stuck in our own heads to be present for our dog. It's a nice thought. It's just not entirely accurate, because here's what the research actually shows. And okay, wait, I need to reframe this because I almost said dogs remember everything, and that's not quite the point either. It's not about memory in the way we think about it. It's about pattern. Repeated patterns of emotional unavailability create something in dogs that's measurable, real, and honestly a little uncomfortable to sit with. Researchers at Budapest's Family Dog Project, to Paul and colleagues, have been studying canine attachment for years now, and what they found maps almost directly onto human attachment theory. Dogs form what's called a secure base effect with their primary humans, meaning your presence, your responsiveness, your emotional availability. These things function like an anchor for your dog's nervous system. Dogs raised with emotionally present owners show lower anxiety markers. Dogs raised with distracted, inconsistent, or cold owners, the opposite. And I was going to pull up a graphic here. I had one made, actually, but honestly, the numbers aren't really the point. The pattern is the point. Think about what it looks like when that pattern starts to wear on a dog. The tail wag that slows, the zoomies that just don't happen anymore. The dog who used to bring you every toy in the house and now just carries one around alone. Not dramatic, not crying, just quieter. And this is the part that gets me, because we're conditioned to think if he's not upset, he's fine. We look for big signals, barking, destruction, obvious distress. But dogs in emotionally cold environments often go quiet. They self-soothe. They stop initiating. And because there's no obvious reaction, it becomes incredibly easy to assume everything's okay. That logic doesn't hold. And honestly, that part got me when I first read it. I mean, I've got dog hair on every piece of black clothing I own. Still haven't figured out a system that works, by the way, and I'd like to think I'm present with my dog, but this made me actually audit my habits. Here's the chemistry underneath all of this. Eye contact and physical touch between a dog and their owner trigger oxytocin spikes in both of them. This was confirmed in a landmark 2015 study published in Science by Nagasawa and colleagues. Both parties, simultaneously, which is wild if you think about it. That's not something that happens across species almost anywhere else in nature. But the flip side is cortisol. Chronic low-grade stress from social exclusion, being consistently ignored, dismissed, left out of the emotional loop, elevates cortisol in dogs the same way physical stressors do. Their body doesn't really distinguish between "I'm scared of something" and "my person keeps looking through me." You know that thing your dog does where they're across the room and you're eating and you look up and they're locked onto you with that unblinking stare, like a tiny furry guilt machine? That's an oxytocin-driven bonding bid. That's them reaching across the room for connection, just without hands, and they can't help it. Because they were literally built for this. Dogs co-evolved alongside humans for over 15,000 years, specifically to read our emotional states, our social cues, our availability. Unlike wolves, even wolves raised with humans, dogs look to us for reassurance. It's baked in. Being emotionally dismissed doesn't just feel bad to a dog. It triggers ancient wiring that says, "My pack doesn't need me." Small laugh huskies will have a full theatrical meltdown about this, obviously. Golden retrievers will forgive you in about 4 seconds, but deep down, same wiring, same need. So what does emotional unavailability actually look like day to day? Because we're not talking about abuse here, we're talking about noise. The low-level, habitual stuff nobody warns you about. Always saying no to the tippy-tap greeting at the door because you're on a call. Never letting them follow you from room to room because it feels clingy. Spending together time on your phone, physically present but emotionally somewhere else. Dismissing the splootin' cuddle attempt because you're in the middle of something. Every trainer will tell you to ignore attention-seeking behavior. And sure, sometimes in specific training contexts, that's correct. But there is a meaningful difference between training and cold shouldering. One is intentional and consistent. The other is just drift. The recalibration doesn't have to be massive. There's this thing I've started thinking of as the 3-second rule. When your dog makes a social bid, a nudge, a look, a toy drop at your feet, acknowledge it. Once, intentionally. Eye contact, a word, a hand. That's it. Hold up a chewed-up toy or shoe. Look at it. This guy right here cost me a perfectly good shoe. I was annoyed about it for a week, but when he brings it to me, when he trots over with it in his mouth and drops it on my foot and looks up, that's a bid for connection. He's saying, hey, I at least owe him a hey back. Here's the reframe I want to leave you with. Go back to that opening moment. Your dog walking slowly to their bed after you push the nose away. That single moment is not a tragedy. It happens. You're human. You're tired. You're distracted. Your dog knows that on some level, they've always known you better than you think. But noticing that moment, that's the beginning of something. Because your dog is not asking for perfection. They never were. They're asking for presence. For the occasional look across a room. For you to register that cold, wet nose boop as the thing it actually is, which is them choosing you. Again, still. Despite the fact that you forgot to share your sandwich and you make them wait in the car sometimes and you've stepped on a paw more than once, the Frito paw smell. The muffled sleep arcs at 2 a.m. when they're apparently chasing something very important in a dream. The way they sigh when they finally settle against your leg. That's the whole deal. That's what 15,000 years of coevolution built. Might as well show up for it. Okay, real talk before you go. What is the weirdest way your dog tries to get your attention? Because mine does this thing where he doesn't look at me. He just stares at the wall, near me, like he's gazing into a dimension I can't access. But he's definitely doing it for my benefit. Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to know. And if this video made you think of someone who really needed to hear it, send it to them. Their dog will thank you. Next video, we're getting into something I think is going to genuinely surprise you. Why your dog might actually understand more of what you say than you've ever given them credit for. Not in a my dog knows 3 words way. Something deeper. See you there, MX.